So today I wanted to record a special message to family, friends, and those of you who might be followers, or really just as a way to address some of the emails and comments I get. I wanted to have one place to have this single conversation one last time. I recently got an email that I've gotten multiple times from multiple people, and I've had a few conversations lately, and I'm tired of having to explain myself and what YouTube, me, this channel, and the reality of social media is all about. So we're going to do that here, but first we're going to take a deep breath because I'm holding mine. I'm a little bit nervous, and we'll see you on the other side. So as I said, I just wanted to say this once. This whole process has been a huge learning curve for me. And, I've struggled, I've thrashed. I spent, 9 out of 10 years on YouTube having nobody watch, so I just did whatever I wanted. And then, it's been about 1.5 years when people started watching. And since then, I just have really had a hard time with the mechanics of YouTube, the psychology of YouTube. I don't really have a lot of other social media, so this has really been the one time I've had to struggle to engage and what it really means to engage in this format. And so, what I really have come to learn and to understand, and what I most importantly want to say, this is not real. We think it's real. We think what we see people portray in social media is real. And one of the reasons I'm really bringing this up at this moment in time is I'm getting more and more clear and aware that it's getting extremely difficult to say what is real, what is reality, what is fake, what can I stand on that won't crumble and crash beneath me. We've seen that happen in traditional media, in film and television. We're seeing that in politics. We're seeing that in the climate. We're seeing that in how this universe is structured. There's almost nothing left in this world that we are not debating and questioning if you're really paying attention. And the same is true for anybody that you're viewing or participating with on social media. And so it's extremely difficult to know, what to put out there, how much to show, how much to say. And one of the other reasons I'm talking about this right now is as I'm building this platform and I'm building an offline line of work, a way to be in this world off of a social media platform, it's becoming more and more clear to me that one of the most fundamental things that people have a problem with is the ability to understand what's real and to know what's manipulation, what's coercive, and most importantly, what is projection. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that psychological term, is that we usually project what we think, feel, and believe, both the good and the bad, onto somebody else. And I started to get a little reactive with people projecting some of their stuff on me, and have had to really ask myself how much of that is me seeing reflected in them what I think they're projecting onto me. And so that's obviously a deeper conversation than we can have in this place and this time. But it just really illustrates the fact to me that people don't understand what's real. And I made a video recently where I showed, I was in a sleeveless dress and I showed outside with green and flowers. People, it's the middle of the winter time. There is no greenery. I can't wear short sleeves. There are no flowers. That is old footage. And we have this thing now, I think, where we think, because we see people in a more natural way, that we believe what they're telling us as to be true. And so there's a couple reasons what I've learned over the course of this last 1.5 years about what to share and what not to share, and the difficulty in what people hear and what you say are two wildly different things. Because once upon a time, somebody like me, all I would have done is write a book. You would have never seen me. You would never know how I lived. The only frame of reference you would have would be maybe a few snapshots, some kind of publicity piece in a magazine, and then whatever I decided to write to tell you that was the truth about me. And so now we're in this really interesting world where anybody can pick up a camera, anybody can put themselves out for public consumption. And so there is this assumption that somehow because you see some of the physical things around me, you understand who I am and what I'm talking about. And so as I say, as I continue to develop my product, which is really teaching people to understand how to manage things like what's real, how to understand and manage stress and uncertainty in this increasingly unstable world, is what is real, what is stability in the face of insanity. Because what I see and what I hear is people are getting more and more detached from reality, and it's getting more and more difficult to tell what is real. And so I just wanted to offer this up, that in this kind of platform, people, you cannot tell everybody everything. You don't want to talk about too many specifics because it's not safe. You can't share what's real because people have no idea what you're talking about. There's no context to these things. I've lived a very long life, a very complex long life that will never be able to be communicated in this medium, in this format. And I struggle, with this idea that people think they know who I am, and they're telling me what to do, and they're making assumptions about what I don't know. And it just makes me want to pull my hair out, because it's also very frustrating, I think, because we're listening and we're seeing people in a way that may not fit with this idea or this version of who we think they are or who we want them to be. And I find even people who are close to me don't really understand what's real and what's not. And while I don't flat out lie about who I am and what I'm doing, the physical stuff you can see. But I promise you, the biggest point of deception with these processes is what goes on inside my head, my heart, and my mind. It doesn't have anything to do with what you actually get here, what you perceive, what you hear. What you see and what you get is such a tiny slice of who I actually am, that it's just an endless source of aggravation for me that people think they know who you are. And so I've gotten pretty frustrated with the whole process. I've stopped reading most of the comments. I try to be polite and answer the emails, but I don't even want to do that a lot of times at this point, because it isn't my job to explain myself so that you're comfortable with what's here. We need to switch that off. Part of surviving what's happening in this world today is the ability to separate the wheat from the chaff. And so what I know to be the truth, what I understand in the universal operations are happening around us, it surpasses anything that can be physically spoken or explained. If you really understand the mechanics of the universe and what's happening around us, it isn't explainable verbally. And you get to a certain point where you can't have a conversation about it. You either know or you don't. And what we do is, when we're in the face of uncertainty, is we want to control the information. We want to limit our beliefs, because that allows us to feel more certain and more stable. And one of the really big things that's occurred for me that I didn't really understand until I started doing all this is that who I am and the way I work is a very masculine way of being in the world in terms of my thinking, but I also have a strong feminine side. And so I'm just not like most people. And most men, when they think like I do, they announce how they know everything. They tell you that they're right. They're very definitive. They're very adamant. And what I've noticed is, because I understand that none of us can ever know anything, and I can never explain everything I know, that's taken for confusion. It's taken for weakness. It's taken for uncertainty. It's taken for somehow I don't know something, so you have to help me and tell me. And so then I just get frustrated and I want to shut down. And so that's my work. Those are the things I have to work on. But what I know to be true and what's real, you will never ever see online. You will never see probably face to face, because I don't tell anybody. I can't tell anybody what I actually know, because I haven't met anybody that would actually be able to understand it. And even saying that out loud as a woman, the women will understand this, is that I cringe and I pull back, because men don't like it when women are smarter than they are. And I've learned how to be very much less in order to make others comfortable. And one of the reasons I spend so much time alone is because I don't have to accommodate other people's feelings. I don't have to accommodate their insecurities. And I don't have to accommodate the limitations. And so I don't say that to be rude or to be mean, but to really just to make a point, is that You need to understand when you're watching videos, when you're listening to the news, when you're trying to discern what's real and what's going on with you out in this world, you're getting a tiny fraction of what's real. And the trick to managing and surviving what's coming isn't to find out what is the truth. It's how to prepare yourself to be ready in the face of never knowing what is the truth. We're in a process of unraveling and pulling things apart, and the only way we will survive, the only way we can stay sane is to understand when we know something's not right, but we will never understand what is absolute in terms of truth, and we will never understand what the big picture is, and we will never have a final outcome in which to rest our feet. Things are going to become increasingly less stable. They're going to be more uncertain. You're going to feel less safe and secure. And those are the things I'm trying to address in the work that I'm doing. Isn't to tell you what's the truth, isn't to tell you how to be safe. It's not to fill you with some kind of fantasy that you can just sort of run away, hide out, and everything will be okay. There is no okay. That future is over for most of us. And I don't say that as a state of fear. This is a moment in time where you get to test how powerful you want to be. And there's no limit to that. You can rise, grow, become as much as you want, but you will never finish. There's no end place to it. There's no final outcome. There's just a continuation until the point you drop off and you're not here anymore, whether that's from natural causes, whether it's from a terminal diagnosis, whether it's from an extinction event. It doesn't matter. The challenge in this life is to move forward despite what we know to be true, because what we now know is almost none of it's true. And that includes what you see and hear from me. Your work is to figure out the grains of truth within the message, but I can never speak to you in such a way where you can absolutely hear the message, because that's your responsibility, that's your work. None of us can hear until we're ready, and that means we have to prepare and do the work to be ready. And that's all I can offer, is a way to prepare and to train and become somebody that can hear more truth. But if anybody's promising you they know the truth, no matter what name it has, no matter how long it's been in existence, it's a lie, because they don't know. We only hold on and claim absolute truth because we're afraid when we don't know anything. And that's the bottom line. None of us know what the truth is. Nobody who proclaims they know what the truth is. We just have a lot of information that we have to wade through and dig into. And it's your job to do that. My work is to help people do that by the processes I've been able to pull out and evolve for the last 40 years. And I've learned a lot in working with people for over 20 years, and I've learned a lot by being online for the last year and a half, seeing what people hear, how they respond, and what they believe to be true. It isn't what it looks like. You will never know the truth, and the best I can offer you are strategy and process to help pave the way for your own survival road, for your own walkaway life, and for your own road culture story. This is mine. You'll never know what it is. And that's the best I can say. So I just wanted to throw that out there today. Feeling a little aggravated. So I'm taking a deep breath. I'm finding my way in this incredibly confusing place and point in time, and doing my best to share what I can in this forum while I'm here, which won't be forever. So with that, I'm taking a deep breath, and we'll see you next time.